I want to tell you about a book that changed my life forever. And before I jump into that, I want to share a quick story with you, if that's okay. When I was 7 years old, in my riveting spiritual years, in my theological advancement years, I accepted Jesus Christ into my life. And at 14, that decision I made at 7 paid huge dividends for me and helped me through so many hard times. Because at 14 years old, I was just ripped to pieces with anxiety, shame, guilt, depression. I had been through some sexual abuse as a child. And most importantly of all, or most hard of all to me, if that's even a phrase, was I felt unseen and I felt unloved. And I had a question bouncing around in my head of, where is my father? At 9 years old, God took my birth mom home. And at 10 years old, God took my father away from me. Then at 14 years old, God took all my siblings away from me. I was living in my new home with my third set of parents in 5 years, and I wasn't allowed to see my siblings anymore for what I thought was my fault. I did get caught trying to run away. I was quite the hellion, and I wore that shame. I wore that guilt. And it was extremely hard for me to carry that. I wasn't supposed to carry that, but how could I know? I was 14 years old. So through all those years of not really being seen or heard, I kept up to that, to myself when I was 14 at my new home. But some miraculous things happened there. My aunt and uncle, who were 28 years old, who took me and my older brother in, had just had new twins, Benjamin and Joshua. And not only did I see my aunt and uncle work their tail off to support and care for Steve and I, but I also got to experience extreme joy from hanging out with these twin boys with tons of energy who loved me. And because of that, I felt a sense of purpose. Because of that, I had some healing that I didn't know I had during this time. But at 6 months, I got really sick and tired of carrying all these chains on my shoulders, and I started to really, really blame God. Not only did I really just cuss him out for pretty much everything that happened to me that was bad, I kept asking him, where's my father? Where's my father? Where's my father? So as God would have it, he was always pointing me in the right direction. I went upstairs and got this book. And the book got to this third home in a miraculous way. You see, when I was getting kicked out of my second home, my little sister, Amanda Floyd, comes running out. Here, James, take this Bible, in a joyful manner. And I was just so sick and so ashamed of being kicked out and so mad they were seeing me leave them that I was just like, no, get that out of my face. I don't want that. As God would have it, God used her to sneak that into the car, and it followed me home anyways. It was the Bible. So I opened this Bible up, and I started digging into it like a seminary degree, and started opening up Greek and translating to Hebrew. No, I didn't actually do any of that. I just read it, and it makes sense. And I read it, and it makes sense. And I read it, and I read it, and I read it. And finally, one day, in my room all by myself, I felt this hand on my shoulder. And in that moment, all my emotions came to a screeching halt. And I heard a voice say, James, I love you. I am your father. I have always loved you, and I will never stop loving you. And just like that, the chains just broke. The shame, the guilt, the anxiety, the depression just shattered. And I really felt seen for the first time as a 14-year-old, and seen from God of all people, my creator of all people. To understand that. How? It's unbelievable. I think back. I'm just so amazed. And to add icing on the cake, God said, one day I'm going to use you for something special. Talk about hearing that as a kid, as a 14-year-old. That really made me be seen after that. John 3:16, for the first time, in verse 17, I like adding verse 17, came to light, came to my understanding heart. I grasped it. I understood it somehow. And it says this, God loved you so much that he sent his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his son into the world to condemn it, but to save it. That everyone who believes in Jesus will receive eternal life. You see, I learned quickly that God had been with me through all those valleys. God had been with me through all those dark times. God was there through everything. The book that transformed my life was the Bible. The Father that loved me through it all was Jesus. And the home I knew and figured out that I have was heaven. And I really hope that you see this. I hope that this can encourage you. So with this fire that I have and these multiple takes of these videos, because I wanted to get it right for you guys, I want to practice this and really project it and articulate it well for you all, has given me a challenge. I've always loved giving away Bibles, and I've given away whatever. It doesn't. I forgot the count of Bibles, but I have a goal of 100 Bibles this year, and need your help. Would you post this video? Would you share this video, or would you just say, "Hey, I know somebody who needs a Bible. James will give you one. I'm going to buy you a Bible and send it to you, and it's going to be the Jesus Bible from Passion City Church, or any Bible you want. But that's the one I'm going for you guys." And my hopes is that you dig in it, that you read, that you ask questions, that you don't give up, that you see God through it all. My hope is that you too can understand that you're his son, that you're his daughter, and he loves you so, so much. He cares for you so, so much. He wants the best for you. He has a home for you. Relationship with my perfect Creator and Holy Father has shown me more about my heart than I could have ever imagined in my life. The world, the identity I had, and anxiety, depression, unseen, unloved, unheard, guilt, shame, no longer shaped my perspective. God in the Bible finally controlled that perspective. And for the first time, I saw a loving Father. For the first time, I saw hope. For the first time, I understood Jesus.